in the book, you said, when we can see how we are alike, we are more likely to trust each other and act in a civil manner when stuff hits the fan at work. Because guess what? It's gonna happen. But how will people respond when that happens? So having opportunity to talk, that's still falling under that, having discussion and things like that. That's very important. Very close to that is when you said crush the cliques. During the transition to a new comfort zone, after a change, there's tendency for people to form cliques, right? People coming together and things. I think that's very important. This happens a lot anywhere in the world. This is not even like, oh, this culture does this. In a big environment, people just tend to move towards somebody that they feel comfortable with. And it's now feels like you have teams that are playing against each other, basically, like a sport whereby they play. And a good leader probably don't want that because you want people to. So, how would you suggest that the leader deal with that?
There's a lot of different ways to do it. Take the example I just gave with breaking a room of 20 into 5 groups of 4. Maybe instead of just saying, go to a group of 4, they're going to go to the ones they're comfortable with, right? Saying, okay, if you have, maybe I do something with the name tags beforehand and I put red on some and blue on some and green on some, yellow on some. You're with the red team, which I've specifically put people who don't necessarily know each other really well together, assigning those groups so that people get to interact with people they don't know, because a lot of times they just haven't had the opportunity to interact with them. So they just don't know how great and how cool and how, alike they are. Nobody likes icebreakers, but they can be really a great way to get people interacting that don't know each other very well so that they can find some of those similarities. The more, again, like you said, the more we know about each other, the more we realize we're alike, the easier it is to collaborate and trust and communicate and all of that stuff. When, I call it the poodle bond, right? If somebody has a picture on their desk of them with their little tiny poodle, I might say, oh my gosh, I grew up with poodles. Oh, I love poodles. Oh my gosh, it's so great. And then when I'm driving you nuts in a meeting, and you talked earlier about freezing people, right? Putting them in a box.
Yep.
I remember, yes, you're driving me crazy right now in this meeting, but you like poodles. And so again, we learn these little things that help us not to put somebody stuck in a box. Yes, they drive me nuts here, and they're a cool human that has poodles, or loves barbecue or whatever, So in however we can get our teams all interacting with each other, the value of collaboration and trust and communication that comes from that is incredible. So the more we can bring our teams together, the better.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.